Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Zvezda. This kit comes in a 1/48 scale and we have a Yak-130 mitten, but this time it's in a bomber version, so as you can see it's written Russian white bomber. And this is a new version of the Yak-130 kit. It was released in a 1/48 scale before, but this time we can replicate the bomber version. And you can see that we have a changed box art here. Box size is approximately the same as the previous release, so here you can see comparison with my hand. But box art is really beautiful here, and it would be cool to get it as a poster. Next, on the side here you can see some information about the model. So we have 339 parts, and finished model will be 24 centimeters long. Here we also have a decals map and paints chart, and on the opposite side you can see pictures with other kits from the same brand. By the way, we reviewed them also, you can find it easily on our YouTube channel, and I really recommend to check these kits because they're also really interesting for a build in a 1/48 scale. By the way, this one is 1/72. So, box is sealed with a tape, and by the way, here on the rear side you can see pictures of the finished model, which looks quite impressive, really nice build by the way. And here we have technical specifications on the armament which is included inside. But as I said, box is sealed with the tape, so I am just cutting it with a knife right now. Just give me a second. And here we have a small note as a safety advice. By the way, this kit was purchased with your help, with your donations, and I really appreciate it because it made this review possible, and I, let's say, got the chance to buy this kit and review it together with you. So what I'm doing right now is removing this box out of the thin color printed sleeve, because inside we have this brown box which is quite sturdy, and it actually provides all the, let's say, necessary protection to all the parts. And next we continue with parts which are packed into separate plastic bags, and that's why I will need scissors, because these bags are sealed. And you can see we are going to start with a pack of not that big bags, and then gradually we will move on to other stuff which is included here. So just give me a second. Okay. And I can see that we have some weapons included here. So it's also a handy thing because you won't have to get any aftermarket stuff. Well, as long as you are fine with these parts, you won't need any aftermarket. But of course you can resort to some resin replacement, which will add some fine features. So here you can see first sprue type. There are two sprues of this, let's say, version. And we have various bombs because it's a bomber version. You can see that each one will have to be glued out of two hulls, so be ready for that. But I hope that inside, yeah, we do have some guiding elements, so it will be easier to align these parts. And by the way, here is comparison with my fingertip, so these are not that small parts, but still it is nice to have, let's say, some helping things, and they will improve the overall appearance. Why I'm a bit confused, because next sprue actually brings us the pilot figures. As you can see, there are two pilot figures. They are replicated in a seated position from what I can understand, but we will check it also in assembly manual. And there are pre-molded features look really good, so if I bring it closer here you can see that it's just a matter of careful painting and you'll get a really nice result. And we have also some external elements like pylons here, but this is not that important because on the next sprue we have several missiles. So here you can see them, and quite surprising is that these parts are molded as a single piece part, so it means they will be easy to get on your aircraft. Just carefully separate them and you will be good to go. And next we have another type of sprue, so again pair of frames. So let's zoom out a bit. Here we have pilot seat. We also have another version of the external equipment. It means the bombs, and I guess that's the fuel tank. We have also pylons here. We have some parts for the engine and landing gear wheels, and I guess this whole bag was the bomber specific because we also have several other plastic bags, but these ones I would bet they are universal for both versions of aircraft, so that's why they're packed separately. But first we can check the clear plastic sprue, which was packed into separate plastic bag, and frankly speaking I'm not sure why it is warped like this, as you can see here, but still we have really nice molding quality. We have also these lines on the canopy, they are pre-molded. If camera will focus, yeah, now you should be able to see. So they can be brought out with a dry brush, or you can use decals, because as far as I remember, Zvezda also includes decals which will give you the same appearance. And of course you can replicate the open cockpit from what I can see here, so it will be up to you if you would like to have it on your model. Next we continue with the final plastic bag, which is dedicated to big sprues. It is also sealed, so just give me a second to cut through it and we will take a closer look together. But again, here I should remind you that, for example, Edward already has several aftermarket sets or accessory sets available for this plastic kit, so if you would like to add some fine features to your model, that's definitely a way to go. And now I'm going to remove this large sprues. What do we have here? So here we have first this frame, and I guess I will have to zoom out because it's noticeably bigger than what we saw before. But here we have parts for the tail section, also for the top section. And note that overall parts division is quite interesting, because we do not have, let's say, separate wing halves or something else. Well, here we have the lower halves, but we have also the top halves, which are pre-molded together with a fuselage section. And I guess all these cut sections, they actually repeat panel lines, so you won't have to worry about any additional issues. And we can zoom in and start with this corner so that you get to take a closer look at all these panels. And molding quality seems to be fine. I do not see any possible issue here, so it's just a matter of careful separation of all these parts. And of course, external features, they include the recessed panel lines and rivets, so it's also a matter of maybe pre-shading. By the way, here inside you can see that we have a lot of guiding elements, which will also come handy for the proper assembly of this aircraft, especially considering the fact that it is, let's say, divided into all these separate panels, which you saw just a few seconds ago. But that's not all, because we have two more large sprues. So for example, this one comes with a mix of parts, and here you can see, for example, various parts for landing gear. We have also some parts for the cockpit. Here you can see landing gear legs, tail wings, and everything looks cool. By the way, this is a nose cone or not? We'll have to check. But here we can see the zoomed in version, I would say. So as I said, everything looks fine. Here is the instrument panel, one of them, and here is the second one. And as far as I remember, there should be some decals which will copy the displays on these instrument panels. Next we continue with various internal and external elements, and everything looks cool, so it's just a matter of installation or installing them into your model. And again, assembled model will not be small, so especially for some modelers who are trying to save some space, definitely consider or keep this fact in mind. And the last gray plastic sprue is dedicated again to mix of various parts. Here you'll find air ducts for air intakes, as well as, for example, this one-piece cockpit top. We also have some parts for external containers here, as far as you can see. These are parts for the wing mechanization, and this is internal insert which will go inside the fuselage, but we will see it in the assembly manual. And one more thing is that we have a quite large decal sheet here, so you can take a look right now. Maybe I'll close the lenses so that it won't be that bright. But we have here the segmentation, we have quite extensive stenciling. We have also interior decals, cockpit decals, but only for the instrument panels, no seat belts, but we have some decals for the canopy, as I said before. And printing quality seems to be fine, so there is nothing to complain about. And next there is a safety note, nothing interesting, and separate paper carries the marking guide. So here you can see the first marking option. Here we continue with the dark aircraft, that's the second marking option. And I wonder if there will be, yeah, there are 2 more marking options. So here is the one from, I guess that's from Vietnam, right? And here we continue with gray aircraft. Just give me a second, I need to check because I'm reading it upside down. So, no, it's Swallow Air Force and also Bangladesh Air Force. And they look quite interesting, the camouflages I mean, so it might be a good choice to replicate in a scale. But that's not all, of course you will need also the assembly manual, and assembly manual is printed in black and white format. But still it should be okay, it's a typical thing for Zvezda. So here we have short history note and also several assembly options. So you can see that you can replicate aircraft with open canopy, also with open air brake, and also on this special stand so that you have the landing gear retracted, and that might be an interesting option to copy. Next, we continue by opening this manual. So here we have parts map. Note that unused parts are not marked here, so pay attention to what you install on your model. Next, we start assembly with the cockpit. So there are a lot of parts to go inside. At the same time, we also work on the nose landing gear. And we also install the instrument panels. Next, we continue with air intakes. And here, by the way, you can see the nose subsection getting assembled. So we have nose cone as a one-piece part. That's really cool because you won't have any gaps in this area. And this is something I would expect in a modern kit. And it's cool that Zvezda actually designed the kit just like that. Next, we continue with, I would say, quite complex system for the air intakes. So do not hurry here in order to get the proper fitment. We continue by installing the main landing gear legs, then we start working on various external elements. As you can see, again, the lower fuselage section is molded separately, so that's really cool. You won't have any gaps in this area because it actually copies the panel lines from what I can see. Next, we proceed with wing mechanization and landing gear wheels. You can also close the landing gear base, so you will be able to place the aircraft onto stand, but do not forget to cut the special hole for the stand. Next, we have here various external equipment. As you can see, there are several weapon types or bombs, so feel free to choose whatever you would like to install on your aircraft, but I hope there is a loadout scheme. And I do not see it, so I guess there is only one loadout option, but here you can see pilot's installation, let's say, into the cockpit, and here we have stenciling guide for the aircraft. So all in all, we get a quite nice release from Zvezda. It should be already available. Do not forget that this aircraft comes in 1/48 scale. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such release here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!